Well, hello. Happy Friday to all of you. Alejandro Tornato here, coming from beautiful, sunny Beaufort, Georgia. It's great to connect with all of you once again. And uh, Are you ready for another Carpe Diem with Alejandro and Bob? And I hope that you are because I cannot wait. Let me bring my dear friend Bob Di Giacomo because he's waving and he cannot wait. To be here with me. How are you doing, intentional Bob? Yee.
I'm doing much better. Thank you very much.
It's always good. Um, Now, better, how does that go? Better is the enemy of great. How does that go? Is it? Um, oh, oh,
Make your good better and your better best. And
okay.
then
Well, that's. That's. Excellent. We are here. We are always to be striving to be better, to do better, to have better. So everything is about um, getting ourselves to the very next level of our development and our growth. And I'm so excited today. Well, I am excited every time that I am with you and I share content with you. But today in particular, because I think that today I was thinking and doing some reflecting over the past few days, and I talked to you on a phone call, and I said, "Hey, Bob, do you think that this question that I want to ask to all of our listeners and audience would be a good question to expand upon and to have a segment about?" And you immediately said, "Yes, I think that would be a great a topic. For today." And so let me just
it'd be a great topic for any day.
that's right. Let me just throw that to all of you and even to you, Bob. And this is the question. Are you living your life? Are you living to impress other people, or are you living to fulfill your own destiny? And I believe that the answer that you give to that question will definitely impact your life from this moment on, because you may change the way that you have been living your life, uh, depending and according to the answer that you give to that question. So, are you really living your life to impress people, to let people say, "Hey, look at me, how good I am"? Are you impressed with the way that I am? Or are you living your life to really fulfill the purpose for what you are here to do and your destiny? So I'll give it to you, Bob.
Well, thank you. And I just have to. This is not to impress anybody, but to impress upon you. That was a great phrase I learned from my teacher and mentor, Scott Fay.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always say, "I'm not saying this to impress you, but rather to impress upon you." And then he would
That's right.
continue on with the information. So I'm not about to mention this to impress you, but rather to impress upon you that, no kidding, there I was. I woke up this morning and I, took my shower and I'm doing my hair, and I suddenly realized there's a problem here. I don't recall having all this white stuff in my head. I'm just combing and more's coming up, and it's like, did I actually take the time to color each one of those hairs Was there a gremlin that showed up at my pillow last night and was and then of course if I'm looking to impress somebody, well then maybe I'm going to go buy a bottle of Grecian formula whatever and put all the color back. But no, I don't need to do that because I like it just the way it is. And it's not about impressing people that I could have a full head of black hair, but
Mhm.
that I've actually got a full head of hair
That's
at
right.
at my age, because there are people a lot younger than me that are missing some stuff up there.
Even they may be missing the whole thing
Yeah,
up there.
yeah, exactly. Some people actually shave everything and then grow it down here. And I did, but I've got a few stories that I'm going to tell.
Uh, you always come through. I mean, when it comes to sharing stories. I mean, you listen. I hope that you don't get offended by what I'm going to say right now. But you are, my dear friend, you are a walking story. You are indeed a walking story.
Yeah,
So
you should
so
only know.
yeah, but before you share your stories, I'm going to share something that in our conversations, not live, but in our private conversations, um, you mentioned an analogy that we can provide with this subject of living to impress or living to fulfill your destiny. And the analogy is, let's say that you go to a bakery, and then you see on the shelves, you see this wonderful, just recently baked French baguettes. And you look at them and you see them and you see the crust, absolutely delicious and tasty, and you get one, and you bite on that crunchy crust, and you love it. And then once you finish and you want to take another bite to see what's inside of that baguette, because you're looking, if the crust is so good, then I cannot even begin to believe what's inside. And then you take a second bite, and then nothing happens because the baguette is hollow and there's absolutely nothing inside of it. Now, what a disappointment that is. And that is what happens when people try to impress onto others, because they show their outer crust, and that is tasty. And so other people are thinking, I cannot wait for what's next, because what's next has to be even better and tastier. And nothing happens next because you are hollow and there is no further content to give to others.
So we have to remind everybody that this is Alejandro and Bob unplugged,
That's right.
and we don't rehearse these broadcasts.
We don't.
So it was interesting that I was showing you what was on the outside, and I was pretty happy with that. But so what you're saying about this baguette, this pastry, is
Mhm.
that we look good on the outside, but we don't take the time to develop what's on the inside. And and
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I love jelly donuts, but what if there was no jelly? Or I love cream puffs, but what if there was no cream? And I have to tell you, and this is not because I like Dunkin' Donuts better than Krispy Kreme. Oh, but I do. Um, is because when I take a bite of a Krispy Kreme, because it's so sugary, it just dissolves right away. And I'm wondering, where's the inside?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to a Dunkin' Donut that you can get your hands on it. And of course, there's so many varieties. Although, again, not to besmirch Krispy Kreme, because evidently my granddaughter loves the chocolate Krispy Kreme donuts.
Mm.
And when I get to see her, hopefully in a couple of weeks, I know she's going to be saying, "Pops, I want a donut." And I'm gonna say, "Yeah, let's go to Dunkin' Donut." And she's going to say, "No, I want a Krispy Kreme donut." Well, you just gotta do what you gotta do for your grandchildren.
That's exactly right. Yes, but you know, I went to look into this topic, and it's very strange because why do people try to impress others? And and I found it. One of the reasons that impressing it's so perhaps popular is because people, they want to seek validation, and
Hmm.
they want to seek validation from others, and that happens because of a lack of self-belief and self-faith in our own decisions and our own choices.
But let's add an addendum to that. We try to make ourselves look good at others' expenses.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so I mean, there are people who live their lives and they impress, I mean, and they want to impress others because perhaps, I mean, the titles that they have and the positions that they have, and perhaps the wealth that they have and things that they have on the outside, but there's no real meat and potatoes on the inside. And some of you who are watching now or will watch later, you may be asking, well, how do I know if I'm doing things and if I'm living my life with the sole purpose of impressing others? Because some people, they may not know, and I know that there are some others who may be living in complete denial of this. But there
That's a river in Egypt, isn't it? Denial.
but there are things that would give you some clues as to whether you are impressing others. And the first one is that, have you met people, Bob, that are constantly asking for advice? Now, I am not against asking for advice. Okay, I am not against. I think that asking for advice is good. However, when you go over the fence and every single thing that you are thinking or want to do, you need to get validation from everybody else. I mean, whether from family members, from friends, from co-workers, from the whole world, and you don't do anything on your own, you always need to get advice and to get validation from others. That's a clue that you are living to impress. I mean, what do you think, Bob?
Well, I think on that note, um, those people that are going around getting their ticket punched, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? They never actually press the gas pedal and move forward with that. But today we're going to have a little history lesson
I'm all
because
for it.
and I'm going to go back into the last century because I was around for both centuries, 20th and 21st. And I'm going to bring up a few people that that, in fact, I'm going to go back 3 centuries, although I wasn't around in the 3rd century. Um, I'm going to bring up a couple of people that set out to fulfill their destiny, but at the same time probably impressed others and maybe didn't impress others,
Mm-hmm.
but it was fulfillment of their destiny. And this is why I always say coincidences don't happen coincidentally, because I knew what today's topic was, and we don't rehearse. But this morning I was reading one of my books that comes through the Napoleon Hill series,
Okay.
and it's called Stickability.
I love that title.
Okay, and it's just so profound. So what hit me right in the face as soon as I opened up to the page that I opened up to, because who told me to go to that page as opposed to let me just go through the pages? No. I went to that page. And I don't say that to impress you, just to impress upon you. Okay, see, you got me smiling today. But I don't know if you know George Goethals. Some people pronounce it Goethals. And they actually built a bridge in New York that connects Staten Island with New Jersey. It's called the Goethals Bridge. But he was remembered for something more importantly 100 years prior to that. And that was his building what everyone thought would be impossible, the Panama Canal. Now, did he build that to impress anybody or to fulfill his destiny? That's the first one. Then we have, because many people had failed to build that canal. Okay, there was yellow fever, malaria, all sorts of, and people just died from exhaustion as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this other guy that came along who literally had minimum education. Nobody ever thought he was going to succeed. He definitely, I don't know if he was out to impress anybody, but certainly he was out to impress upon a whole lot of people.
Mm.
And he's responsible for quite a bit of what we're doing today, especially since you can see me. And that's a guy by the name of Edison.
Oh, Thomas Edison?
Thomas Edison, Thomas Alva Edison, who persisted to develop the incandescent light bulb, but so many other things. Now, did he build those things to impress people, or did he have a fulfilling desire and drive and destiny that these ideas just kept popping into his mind, and he had to just keep going until he did it? Then I want to mention somebody else who had a broken heart. He had many businesses that failed. He lost 8 times for election. And suddenly one day he woke up and was the president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Now, was he running to impress people, or was he running to impress upon people that he had this destiny that needed to be fulfilled? And many times, I have one more story to tell after this, but many times we don't know what our destiny is because we try so hard to avoid fulfilling it, because we're being led in a direction through stickability, but yet we're trying to unstuck ourselves because we don't think that that's the way we're supposed to go. Now, I also remember back to when I was in high school, and there's a story in Stickability about this, and you would think that they must have known me because it's a similar story to something I went through. There were these kids that were bullies when I went to school, and I know I think I told this story a while back, but I'm going to say it again for emphasis. There were these bullies, and to make themselves look good, to impress others at others' expenses, they would look for the weakest or perceived weakest links to pick on. And so one day I was in gym class and I'm minding my own business, doing my thing when I got hit in the head and it knocked me to the ground. I turned around, I looked, and they had thrown a ball at me right at my head and with force. And I turn around, I see them, I walk up to them, I say, "Well, who threw that?" And of course, the biggest one says, "I did." Well, I'm a tall, skinny kid with Coke bottles, Coke bottles for
Yeah.
glasses. I have arms that you could put your fingers around without any difficulty. And next thing I know, we're fighting. And next thing I know, I'm being punched to the ground. And back up I popped. And back in I went. And another fist came out of and back down I went. And back up I got. And again another fist came in and down I went. And this time my glasses are hanging
Yes.
and and
All
and
crooked.
and you could see the tears flowing, but back in I went again, a couple of more times at least, to where he finally said, hold it. I can see you're not going to give up. And as I mentioned, I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you, that from that day forth, he protected me for the rest of high school.
And that's what happens with bullies. I mean, when you stand up to a bully becomes your very best friend and protector.
But that's not our relationship.
No. But no, I think that is true. I came across a statement, but another clue that you might be living your life trying to impress others, and this made me laugh, because it says, when there are some people that they decide, when deciding what to wear on a particular day, they consider what others may say about it. I mean, you just wear a particular outfit, but being conscious as well, I'm going to wear that because that looks good. And what other people, when they see me, they're going to say, my goodness, I mean, good things. So you really,
Or snide things behind your back.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But there's a quote or a statement by Will Smith, the actor Will Smith,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "Too many people spend money that they haven't earned to buy things that they don't want, to impress people that they don't like." And how true that statement is. It doesn't matter whether it comes from Will Smith, okay? But I love the statement. You see, people spending money that they don't have to buy things they don't need or they don't want, with the sole purpose of impressing people. But this is the sad part, that they don't like. So why
Mm-hmm.
is it that we are so focused with impressing people and impressing the world? And I came up with two things that are perhaps an antidote from impressing others. The first one, and pay attention to this: be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else to impress others. Just be yourself. And secondly is, stop living your life to be accepted or to get acceptance from others. Get into the reality that there are some people who are going to love you and accept you for the way that you are, with all the quirks, with all the mistakes, with all the failures, with all the weirdness that you have. And there are other people that no matter how perfect you show to be, they are going to hate your guts. No matter what you do, they're going to hate you. And that's perfectly fine. Now, if you learn to live with that, then you're going to be living an authentic life, not caring what other people may say about you. Now, is that right, Bob?
I fully agree. And my father always used to teach me that you're going to have true friends to match. Let me get into the camera. To match the number of fingers on one hand.
Yeah.
Everybody else will be acquaintances that will come in and out of your life. I like to add to that when the gun goes off, it's always good to see who's still standing around with you.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's true. So I think, I mean, there's obviously, I mean, there's so much more. I mean, that we can add. To this topic. The other thing that I did is when it says, I mean, are you living to impress people or you're living to fulfill your own destiny? And then I went to the dictionary. And I said, let me look the dictionary definition of destiny. I mean, what is destiny? And the dictionary says the destiny is the events that will necessarily happen to a particular person or thing in the future. Okay, that's the destiny. I mean, the events that will happen to you necessarily in the future. But is not only the events that will necessarily happen to you in the future. I think that when you create your destiny, is not the events that happen, but they're also the events that you make it happen to you in the future, that creates your destiny, whatever that destiny is. And I think that the destiny is tied somehow to the legacy that you want to leave behind you. But that's a topic for another time. Let's not get into legacy.
So let me put out a call to action.
I'm all for it.
Because today on my Facebook Live, I put up not only today's Carpe Diem card, which deals with preparing yourself for today for all of the tomorrows that are going to come. Mm-hmm. And we have to assume that the tomorrows will come, but we need to do everything now, for we don't know. But at least we know that yesterday ended last night, so we're here today. But I put up another card that says there are two most important dates in your life. Of course, we know the day you were born and the day you pass. But it's that dash in between that we are given access to.
That's right.
See, we're not told the beginning date. We're not told the ending date. That's saved for a higher authority. But we are told that there's a dash to make the most of it. And I just want to also add that we tend to sometimes get into a rut. And a rut is simply a grave with the ends knocked off. So we need to get out of the rut and fulfill that dash and make the most of that time that we have between and before it.
That's right. As a matter of fact, it would be a good thing, I mean, to ask people and to say, hey, if you have a bookcase and you have two bookends, Okay, you have one on the left side and one on the right side, two bookends, and they're beautifully decorated. I mean, they're not just any kind of bookend. It's, I mean, they are, you can see the work of art in those bookends. What is more important to you? Is it looking at those two bookends, or the books that are in between those bookends? And I think that what is really important, even though those bookends may be works of arts, but it is what is in between those bookends that is really the important thing and what you should be concentrating on.
So I think we've given them quite a bit to percolate on for today.
I think so.
When are we together again?
Well, we are together this coming Monday, because today is Friday. So we are going to give everybody just a little bit of rest, and to give ourselves, even though I think that I have a lot of things to get done. So, but I would find some moments of reflection and rest. But we'll be back on Monday, this coming Monday at 2 p.m. So do you remember, I mean, the time when we used to watch Batman on TV? And so the episode, I mean, would end and you said, okay, well, let's get ready, because either tomorrow or next week or whatever it may be, on your same Bat channel and the same Bat time or Bat hour, Batman will return. Well, in this case, Alejandro and Bob will return on this same channel and time this coming Monday. So be ready for another powerful time together.
And I don't know if you remember the other guy that used to hang out. He was called Dick Tracy, and he would look into his special phone watch and say, 6 to an even, Chief. Over and out.
Now, when Dick Tracy was on, did Dick Tracy knew about the coming up of the Apple Watch?
But somebody paid attention.
but somebody paid attention to it. So it was great to spend these moments with you and to go over this. I hope that we are adding value to you, and we, both of us, I mean, we would love for you, whoever you may be and wherever you are, drop us a comment, tell us, give us some thumbs up or hearts, and tell us, hey Alejandro, hey Bob, you are doing a fantastic job. And also, and we are very thankful for that. Also, tell us, I think that you can improve on this, or you can talk about this topic that I've been very curious about. Just let us know, because we are always wanting to get better, to do better, and to add even more value to you. And the way that we can do it is if you give us feedback. Okay, so any final words of wisdom from you, Bob?
No, I don't want to impress anybody. I just want to impress upon them. Share this with their friends.
That's right. Share it with friends and whoever may need to hear these messages. So up until the next time when we meet again, let me remind you to live every moment. Just live every moment to the fullest. Be resilient and be kind, be passionate, and be well. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Take care.